I'm John Batchelor. This is the John Batchelor Show. Mad Max, of course, that's Mary's theme ever since she fell in love with Australia.
Love that song.
Mary Kissel's here of the Wall Street Journal editorial board and the host of Opinion Journal each day. And also, she's not dancing in the studio, but a junior member of government is right here with me, Andrew Leigh. And he is a junior member of government as a member of parliament. And he was starting to dance until we controlled him and remind him this is a refined American studio. Andrew.
I'm now back to your sartorial, dignified standards.
Mad Max is not quite the theme song of Australia, but it could be, right, Andrew?
Absolutely, John. It's,
what is it? God bless the Queen? It's some derivation of that.
It's one of those great ironies of Australia that it's actually more urbanised than the United States. More of our population live in cities, but we have this sort of really strong bush ethos and this bush poetry, the notion that we're a country that can ride horses and shoot kangaroos and all those sorts of things.
Shoot kangaroos.
Mary and I have seen all the movies. Shooting kangaroos?
No, I'm not into shooting. Eating them, maybe.
They ride around in cars and shoot their eyes out of the headlights is what they do.
Oh, yes,
put a headlight on, they're just like a rabbit.
Yes, Andrew knows of what he speaks. We're going to a story that is an alarm bell right now from Asia, and Andrew watches this very carefully, I'm sure, as Mary does, who was 6 years in Hong Kong. The report within this last hour from CBC News, and I'm speaking to Asia as well, so you know the story. Good morning, Australia. There's evidence the new H7N9 bird flu is transmitted from chickens at poultry markets in China to humans, a small study suggests. However, the headline says that there's evidence of human-to-human transmission. We have the number of cases rising. We know it's moved to Taipei. We had a report in Beijing. We know it's interior now. And the question here about how Australia regards this, what you do to protect yourself, the jet airplane means that it's everybody's problem. Is that correct, Andrew?
It really does. And I guess we're much the same position as the United States, John, where we take the vaccines as quick as we can, and long gone are the days where the only people who got vaccinated were the very young and the very old. Now everyone is encouraged to get that vaccine. The high Australian dollar means we have a record number of Australians travelling overseas, which is great for tourism, but exposes us a little more to threats like this.
Although I have to say, though, you can't bring anything into that country. I mean, you've got to throw away the wood products, the food, the this, the that. I mean, it's almost impossible to bring anything into Australia, isn't it, Andrew?
We don't have a land border, Mary, and so that does mean we get to keep out a few extra things like rabies and foot and mouth and so on, and a few little pests that we're quite glad to have out.
Do you have thermometers at the gates, the way I've been told Singapore does, testing people's temperatures?
We don't. No, even during SARS, we didn't set up that machinery. I think the sense is that you'll ask people and do the questions rather than doing the body scanning.
All right, we're flagging this only because people who've lived through this scare know it moves very quickly. So far, 100 people approximately in China, and it's killed more than 20, which means that it has a 20% mortality rate, which is
scary.
Yeah, absolutely
really scary.
Let's move to the economy of Asia, because Andrew, Mary and I watch it very carefully. When she was in Australia recently, it was still rosy. It wasn't negative, but there are warning signs because of the softness in China. Do you read those in Australia as a warning to you that it's time for some caution and time for saving for a rainy day?
Our savings rates are actually at a record high, John. We're saving, I mean, much as your savings rates have gone up, but last time I checked, we had a higher savings rate than the Japanese. So once you get to that stage, there's not much further you can go.
It's really saying something, yeah.
It really is.
See, John, what Andrew didn't tell you is that he's also an academic economist. So, yeah.
Well, this might be the influence of the nature of Australia. It's a very cautious country, given how it was born in from the ground up. I mean, you are a very cautious frontier people. However, you're not removed from the slowdown in China. There's nothing you can do about keeping that from your shores. You've enjoyed a bounty these last years. Mary's taught me it's the mining sector, right, Mary?
The mining sector, but it also has a strong service sector. Andrew, I was particularly interested to see Australia say this week that they're going to buy, the Central Bank of Australia is going to buy Chinese yuan-denominated bonds, that you're going to start trading with China in their own currency. So you're basically edging the United States and the dollar out of the equation. I mean, is this what we get for running these crazy monetary policies? Mr. Academic Economist, tell me.
Well, I mean, direct convertibility just facilitates trade. So, I mean, I think there's nothing to be terribly worried about in that. The big story is that a lot of Australian black coal and iron ore is going to build skyscrapers in China and India. You can see the steel intensity of China starting to taper off, but India's got a huge way to go. And so those reserves of coal and iron ore have been one, although not the only factor driving the strength of the economy.
I want to cause some trouble here because we do have a junior member of government. Over these last days, there have been alarming reports of aggression by the PLA, threats to the Japanese and the Americans about exercises in the East China Sea, what you'd have to say provocative move by Chinese PLA-related craft around the uninhabited Senkaku, and an incursion across the Indian border at Ladakh. I know there's small incidences, but combined with the white paper recently issued by the Chinese PLA, naming the U.S. as the troublemaker in the region. Do you see a change in weather from China? You've been watching it a lot longer than I have, Andrew. You've grown up watching China.
So the whole nine lines approach that China takes to resolving its island disputes, I think, is regrettable. And, John, I think China actually has quite strong claims through the standard international law and international processes, but they haven't been pursuing those claims as states typically would, and that's certainly what Australia has been encouraging. Use the international dispute-making processes.
Andrew, you've seen a number of Asian nations, particularly in ASEAN, start to talk to each other a lot more than they used to, in some respects because the Chinese have started to become so aggressive. I mean, has Australia formed new linkages with Japan or India or ASEAN as a result of China kind of pushing out? And is that just a good thing, by and large, for the region to have these democracies talking to one another?
We've always had good relationships with Japan. The relationship with India has sort of gone through ebbs and flows. There were a series of attacks on Indian students studying in Australia a few years back, and that damaged a relationship that was never as strong as I always thought it ought to be, as given India's largely English-speaking and strong tradition of democracy and so on. But then, good relationship with Indonesia, I think, over the years, increasingly with Malaysia, and then to some extent with South Korea as well.
We mentioned there is an election coming, and explain. We've just got 30 seconds. When do you expect the election to be called, Andrew?
We have variable terms, John, but the Prime Minister's set it for September 14th, so we're down to about a little under 5 months away.
So this is not the campaign season, though. That's not how it works. We can just talk about it, but we're not actually campaigning.
Yes, absolutely. We're getting on with the business of governing.
Where, on the other hand, we never stop campaigning
ever,
and we're going to turn to some more campaigning soon enough with Victor Davis Hanson and others, because we've got a lot of politics. There's always a lot of politics going on. I see the Senate's move tonight. We're always in danger when the Senate's in session. We worry about these things. Right now, they've moved something about the air traffic controllers. I hope the people at Kennedy and Newark right now are satisfied. You're going to get relief, just not tonight. Mary Kissel, Andrew Leigh, I'm John Batchelor.